My name is Eric Rakenis, and I sell real estate in the Treasure Coast and South Florida area. I've been selling real estate, helping people buy and sell houses for about 11 years now. I was born in West Palm Beach, grew up there until I was about 29. I lived in West Palm Beach Gardens, Jupiter, moved up to Port St. Lucie about 11 years ago, 2009, and the agent who actually helped me buy my house talked me into getting my real estate license, and he wanted me to join his team. So I did, and found it that I really liked it. I'd been in healthcare for 20 years prior to that. Never thought I'd leave that, but ended up getting my license, enjoying helping people buy and sell homes, and here we are. I like getting to know people. I really genuinely enjoy the personal relationships I develop while I'm helping people buy or sell a home. It's a very personal experience, a very emotional experience. It can also be a very confusing experience, since on average people don't buy or sell a home but every 7 years. And it's usually an experience that comes with enough pressure that people don't want to do it any more frequently than they actually have to. So we're getting ready to sell a home. We need to discuss a plan, not just go into the listing and say, okay, we're going to put your house on the market this weekend and get it sold immediately. We need to sit down and have a discussion and develop a plan as to where you're going to go, what does the end look like, what's the end goal, and come up with a strategy from A to B, and most efficiently, effectively, on a case-by-case basis, how to get that person or family to their goal. So what I enjoy about selling real estate is bringing clarity and developing the relationships with my clients. Well, luckily at this point in time, luckily or as a result of my hard work, most of my business right now is repeat referral business, which I'm very grateful for. My clients have told me that they trust me, they trust my opinion, they trust that I've got their best interest in mind, which is something I take pride in. Transparency and working hard for my clients and putting my clients' interests before my own. I use technology, not just the high definition photography, aerial shots, walkthroughs, the virtual tours, the 3D tours, so that everything looks as good as it possibly can online. And with the virtual walkthroughs, we give people from all over the world the ability to virtually walk through a home. So this obviously establishes the function of marketing a home as well as possible, making it look as good as possible to everybody who's going to see it online. The next step of that, though, is understanding how the internet works, how you can use search engines like Google, YouTube, social media to actually exponentially increase the number of people who see that home. So it's a couple of components to effectively marketing a property. First, it has to look as good as possible. You have to give people the ability to see that home in its beauty, as well as give people the ability to see all the nooks and crannies and corners of that home from a distance. The next component after that is to get it in front of as many eyeballs as possible around the world. There are people buying homes that have never actually set foot in that home. There are people selling homes that have never, that haven't been there in quite a while. Technology gives us the ability to put that home in front of as many people as possible, hoping that, first of all, we can get the best price for the seller. Second of all, convey the most realistic images and portrayal of that property to somebody who could be looking halfway across the world. I'm in the Port St. Lucie market, so a lot of our buyers are coming from New York, New Jersey, New England, so Northeast, California, as well as Miami and Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, just because Port St. Lucie is still more affordable than any of those areas. There's a lot of migration going on. The pandemic obviously accelerated some of those market activities. Port St. Lucie has been one of the fastest growing cities for a long time in the United States, but the pandemic has actually accelerated that. So we have people coming in from Miami because it's a denser population. Broward County, again, a much higher density population. New York, high density and expensive. So a lot of those people are coming from the north and the south right to Port St. Lucie. The guarantee I offer to all my clients, whether you're buying or you're selling: transparency, accountability, honesty, and integrity. Those are my 4 professional values, those things that I feel establish trust in the transaction. Once we get a house under contract, I'm there. I'm accessible. You can always get a hold of me by phone, by text, by email. Of course, if I'm busy, we'll get back to you as soon as possible, but we don't leave people hanging. Some of the pain points I've heard from other clients about other agents are that they put a home on the market, put it up on the MLS, took a few pictures with their iPhone, and then you never hear from them again until you go, maybe you hear from them again when they're closing. Accountability, I find, is one of the most important parts of being a real estate agent. During the course of a transaction, whether you're buying or you're selling, you want to know what's going on. Not only do you want to know where you're at, you want to know what to expect. A perfect example, a client's lovely young couple that I worked with recently had made a phone call to a builder locally. I just happened to be sitting in their model covering for them. I answered the phone. She was coming up from the Lake Worth area to look at new homes, and I asked her if she was working with anybody. She said she wasn't, so I spoke with her, got to know her, understand where she was coming from and what she was trying to accomplish. So her and her husband owned a home down in Lake Worth. They wanted to buy up in Port St. Lucie. So we set up an appointment and we met. Took some time to understand all the moving parts of the transaction. She needed to sell a home and purchase a home, right? So she needed to sell one home in order to be able to pay for the next one. We looked around at resales and new construction, went through a lot of different builders, custom and spec builders, found the builder that most fit her needs and wants and desires, was able to negotiate a contract and work through the process with the builder to determine what they want. And at that point, we decided to list her home. By working with the end in mind, instead of leaving them homeless where they could have sold their home and then had nowhere else to live and had to wait for 8 months for their house to get built, we had to look at the entire process to make sure that they had all their ducks in a row and they weren't gonna find themselves without a place to live once they sold their home and had no idea where to go. So now I consider them friends. Once the process was all over, and it took a good 6 months from the time we spoke on the phone to the time we actually got her home sold. And then beyond that, closing on the new construction, we had a lot of interaction, and during that time we became friends. If you're thinking about selling your home, I would be happy to have a conversation with you about what that process looks like. Call me at 561-339-1344.